welcome to a rather late night development stream. About 20 minutes to 1 in the morning for me at the moment. I'm trying a new layout for my streams as well, as you can see. The project name above my head. We have a vague description of what the project is and what I hope to achieve on this stream directly above my head as well. So let's see what we can do tonight. I'd like to start with asteroid mining, which was kind of working before, but now that the way we create the ships has changed, I'm going to have to redo how we mine asteroids as well. It's maybe a bit tricky, but let's dive into it. So in theory, this weapon connection slot could house the mining beam, because it's technically classed as a weapon in the code. But because it's created randomly, we need to sort of guarantee that this slot is like a utility slot, I think. So I may have to do some code here to not just allow weapon slots or weapon points, but to have utility slots as well. And we already have the mining laser beam fab. Is my microphone okay? Test. Okay, so now my microphone should hopefully be okay. In the event that nobody could hear what I just said, we have utility slots on the ships that we want to use, but currently it's just classed as a weapon point. So in the code, I want to change this weapon point down here to possibly be a utility point where we can place our mining laser beam. Utility points. I think that's a good way to name it. So in my ship generation system service, we may now want another section to handle utility slots. Yeah, this should work. So number 8, utility components. Utility points, get component. Utility points. Just gonna check the stream's okay because I'm getting a few warnings. Upload speed isn't great, so. Check the stream's okay because I'm getting a few warnings. Upload speed isn't great. Might just bump up the desktop audio so we can hear the music. Okay. Back to it. So we're looking for our utility points. We want to get the utility points of our utility points. We'll create this utility components in a second. That's good. I feel this code can be optimized on here, but there are slight differences. So I'm not too worried about it right now. Right, so let's add utility components here. And instead of this one being a weapon slot, it can just be our utility connection point. And in the service, if I remember where it is, ship generation service. Utility. Create a new ship component. Mining beam. Mining laser. Okay. Utility. Add that mining beam to the utility components list. So now when we spawn with a ship that has this as the main body, we should spawn a mining beam at this connection point here at the front, which will allow us to mine asteroids. Now I want to visually improve how we mine asteroids, because at the moment we sort of shoot them and just magically get whatever's inside. I think I want to test this first. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Let's see what happens as it stands. Right. So we do have a mining laser at the front, and we can click 2 on the keyboard to select it, which I should change at some point. That's more of a debug weapon switch. So very, very bright sun. If we if we go to mine this asteroid here, we get carbon, dream dust. Cool. Okay, there we go. So that's the current mining situation. And it doesn't have much reach either, so if these spawn a bit too far up or down, we can't quite reach them. Because our ship is on a 2D plane, I might just have to change how the asteroids spawn. So yeah, we got some illegal dream dust, we have some carbon, this is our fuel up here. So how can we improve this? Visually, obviously. I want this to be more of a tractor beam from Star Trek, that kind of visual. So like a cone or circular rings that go towards the asteroid, or go from the asteroid to the ship to sort of indicate it's collecting. So that could just be a case of using a particle system on the mining laser itself, because the mining laser already looks at the target. So if the particle system just matches the rotation, that should work. Now we don't really want bullets to be firing off, so we may have to change the logic of how we actually mine these things. like how these are grouped. Shooting particle effect. Do we just need play, or do we need anything else? Play should be okay. Let's modify the mining laser. Because a weapon, based on how the code is now, it technically has to fire a bullet. So I'm wondering if we can just not, or fake fire, or just make that bullet invisible. Because when that bullet hits the asteroid, that's when we get the drops from it. So I could in theory just make that bullet invisible. That means I don't have to change the existing weapon system, and it will still work. However, let's get the visual in first. So a nice little particle system. Mining VFX. May also depend on the range. So we'll have to factor in the range. Which is in the weapon class. There's 10 here. So I may just need a circle sprite, which I have. Let's try this one. if we apply that new material, almost there. Now, needs to be directional. And increase size over lifetime. And if we can reverse this direction, that would be good as well. Okay, let's try and set the direction for these guys. Soft particles. I believe it's in shape. Normalize, align to direction. No. Scale. That's obviously way too big. Okay, that's actually what I want, just with the wrong rotation. So... very much the wrong rotation. Okay, but why backwards? Oh. No, same issue, really. No, still being weird. I'm sure there's an easy way to do this. What am I missing? Let's go back to a cone. Why is that such a big difference there? Strange. it shouldn't be a billboard. Ha! There we go, that was the issue. The length scale should be 0 on a stretched billboard, so that it gets that effect that I want. Okay. Almost there now. I can work with this. Let's increase the lifetime to 1. Start size, no speed. Let's go for that one. This might not look amazing by any means, but it's better than nothing for the time being. Wonder if there's a way to reverse this though, other than doing it that way. Let's move on for now. Add that to the shooting particle effect slot. Looping, don't play on awake, and do not pre-warm. Okay. So let's see if that works. I know I'm right next to the sun, so it would be bright, but jeez, yeah, it's a bit too much. Right, let's go here. Select our mining laser. Let's see what happens. Oh. Kind of. Yeah. It's a little bit weird, but... And maybe we also make it world space instead of local, so it doesn't have that effect at the end of it. So let's make it world space. And we want to make the bullet invisible as well, didn't we? So let's do that as well. So this is the mining bullet beam. I wonder if we can... I'll disable the mesh. Now what's this visual effect? Nothing? Nothing. What happened here? Ah. No, we don't want those. I'll disable them for now. And we'll try this light again. Nice blue light. We'll see how that looks. So there won't be a visible mesh, but there will be a light source. We'll see how that works with the tractor beam effect. Okay. I'll just turn the lights off. That wasn't good. And neither is this effect when we rotate. So why is that happening? If it's in world space, it shouldn't really be rotating, right? also a little bit too wide for my liking. Half the value. Let's see how this looks. We might have the same issue, but I'm not sure why it's doing that. Re-enter there, re-enter. Okay, one of the body components doesn't have a utility slot, so I'm just making sure we have the one that does. Let's try to mine. It doesn't seem to be going in the right direction, quite. And we still have the issue of them rotating. Despite it being set to world space. So the rotation is technically correct, but they're still moving relatively to the turret for some reason. Might be to do with the stretching again. But if we use a mesh, we have the same issue of the billboard effect. Ah, that might work. It almost works, but you can't see the back side of it. We use both render faces in the material. That fixes that. I'm curious. Still have the issue. Ah, of course. Velocity over lifetime was also set to local. So, if I rotate this now, nothing works. But no, it has to be local, right? What if we don't use velocity over time? What if we just do this instead? Yes. There we go. Thank God for that. That was quite an annoying issue. You wanna know why games take so long to make? It's little things like this. Okay. That looks good now. I mean, we shouldn't be able to do that. Maybe we only activate this if we're on a valid object that we can mine. So I can't just tractor beam into open space. It's far from perfect, but it's kind of what I wanted. Curious why my cannons have stopped working. Ah. Yeah, so only if we have a shooting particle effect do we want to play or stop it. Okay. Started callbacks. So, where's that taking? Where's that going wrong? Okay, we can shoot again. We can mine. Even if it's not the prettiest visual effect, functionality is there. What happened to my inventory at the top? Nothing. Unity doesn't like to update the layout all the time. That's fine. Okay, so asteroid mining is technically done. Asteroid placement was next on the to-do list for this stream. So how do we want to improve asteroid placement? Because at the moment we just spawn them near the sun, in front of the player. That was more for just testing purposes. So I think I would like clustered groups of asteroids throughout the system. So you may have to pulse over in this direction to get to an asteroid field, for example. I'm also tempted to put some asteroids in planetary rings, if they have them. Let's try and find one. None there. There's the rings. Come on. Okay, there's one over there. So I could place some smaller asteroids within these rings, and you may have to wait until they loop around to interact with them. Unless I just have them sort of stationary around the planet. Although the planet moves, so they would have to move with the planet. I think clusters of asteroids will do nicely for now. So, if I go to the planetary scene, how do we want to do this? I could spawn them in a ring around the sun. Like the asteroid belt in our own system. However, I do like the idea of clusters more. It would be more convenient for the player to just go to different asteroid clusters and mine them. So within the confines of our planetary system scene, which should be set somewhere. should be in here, really, actually. Once we've generated our planets, we should set the confines of the system, I think. Set system constraints. Set system borders. I can't remember how big our system might be. We can have up to 9 planets. Planet distance step is 100. 900. Call it call it 1,000. Co-pilot had the right idea. Oops. No, that's all we need. System border. System borders. Although, no, I think that should be double the system size. So that's a circumference, a 2,000 units circumference. And because I think the planets are spawned just on a radius up to 1,000, so times that by 2. If that's the case, we don't need to set the system borders here. It'll be more of a hard limit that won't change. Now we could, this may not be very efficient, but in theory we can use the same logic. Now we could use Perlin noise here. Or cellular noise. But that means generating a texture again, which isn't too difficult, which isn't too much of an issue, but We could have a value for how many clusters we want, actually. So let's make this a bit more organized. Asteroid generation. Do we want to dynamically update the system borders in the future? Possibly. Yes. We'll just make this private though. Asteroid cluster count. Asteroid cluster min. Let's do 3. Then a max count of about 6. This should be using this my seed system. So seed handler, oops. Seed handler range. So if you have the same seed being used as your friend, for example, if they go to this system, this will generate the same amount of clusters that your friend has with the same seed. So, you know, think of Minecraft seeds. That's how I'm doing the procedural generation for this game. Or something similar, at least. So, we have asteroid cluster count. And then for each of those, asteroid cluster count. Copilot has the right idea again. Going forward, I might use Perlin noise or Voronoi noise to do this, but just for the sake of getting things working first, this should do. So within the system borders on the X and Y axis, we can spawn a cluster. Now, with these being random, they can technically spawn in pretty much the same place, but I'm not worried about that right now. It's a very quiet stream tonight, not many people around. Although it is nearly 2 AM for me. So what I might do is stream during the day tomorrow as well. See how that goes. Right, so we have if we pick a point on the map. We can then spawn our asteroids around that point. Now I don't want the asteroids to be too far below or too far above the ship's 2D plane. So I think this code can basically remain the same. We can just move it in here. This should work quite nicely. Although what I will do did we use I down here? Don't think so. No. Cluster position. Spawn our asteroids at the cluster position plus random inside unit sphere. Which kind of negates the using the seed system. So the clusters will be in the same place if you use the same seed as someone else. But within that cluster, the asteroids may be in different positions, which isn't a major issue. And we want the amount to spawn to be public variable for me to change. In asteroid spawn per cluster. Max. So at most we have 6 clusters of 16 asteroids each. which would be a total of 96 possible asteroids in a single system. So I think we can test this now. Let's make them not as flat and boring to look at. Add a bit of metallic. Now, I think in the system scene, I think I want my astrometrics grid back. So let's see how this looks. Astrometrics grid is back. And we should be seeing asteroids. Yeah, I think I can see one over there. I think I know what the issue is as well. So we're spawning in like a 2000 by 2000 grid, but we're not offsetting for this. The sun is at 0.000, and I think that's where we start the 2000 by 2000 grid. No, that should be fine. Let's get a better view. So, what is this? Oh, that's the particle system for the ship. Okay, yeah, so we do have clusters spawning. One here, one here. Basically, these sound icons are where the clusters are. Don't have too many, but that's fine. So that has worked. They're just quite far away. So I might limit them. Although there's only one planet, so... let's just try again. I think we just got unlucky there. Right, so here's our sun. We have one planet again. We have 3 asteroid. We have 3 asteroid clusters. So if I head up this way. Bit to the right. Yeah, they're very, very far away. I think I'll just reduce the zone in which they can spawn. I can see them now. Yeah, they're way too far away. So I may have been wrong about my assumption before about the... oh, plunged into darkness. Yeah, I may have been wrong before. 2000 may be too much indeed. So we can go back in here. World generation. Was it in here? No, I said it's private, didn't I? That's why I wanted it public to start with. So yes, let's try. Let's go with 500. That should be a nice smaller area for the asteroids to spawn. Which in total will be a 1000 by 1000 area. Which I said was the maximum area before, didn't I? For the planet spotting. So yeah, totally miscalculated. Maths isn't my strong suit. Yeah, so that's good. We have an asteroid cluster right in front of us. We have one to the side over there. Looks like there's one further in the distance over there, but much more within the bounds of the map, which is good. I can also just about see one in the back here. So yeah, this is much better. Do we scale the size of the asteroids? Doesn't look like it. I also want to increase how many we have. Performance is still good. That's not taking a hit. Right. What's a good minimum amount? I think considering asteroids can technically give you fuel, or will be able to give you fuel, we always want one or more clusters. I think 3 is fine. Let's go for 8 clusters here. As low as 6, yep. And let's double that to 32. Now the other thing I want to make bigger is the possible radius size of a cluster. Public float. Asteroid cluster size. Size and a max size here. Sure. It's more control, isn't it? What's the current value? 20. Yeah, let's go with 10. Let's go with, yeah, 30. Copilot does recommend some good things at times. So we get the cluster position, the amount of asteroids to spawn, and we also want the cluster size. And this should be using seed handler 2. In fact, anything that has random.range should be using seed handler. So that's all now procedural. That's deterministic. Apart from the inside unit sphere, because we don't have a custom method for that. But let's put the cluster size here. Any clusters nearby? I can see a big one over there. An even bigger one over there. cool. I might just change the scale of these to be random as well, because all of these being the exact same size and shape is not ideal. Yeah, you know what, co-pilot, you're onto something. Now, yeah, let's see how that is. Oh, I only have one 3D model of an asteroid so far, which isn't well, I say it's not good, I simply haven't made it any more. I've just made this one to test with, but going forward they'll have we'll have different shapes and sizes of asteroids. I think we're about ready to tick off the second goal of this stream. Asteroid placement. Now I'm not sure if I want to do pirate ship combat. Because that could turn into a whole session by itself. So I might do we have pirates. They spawn in the map. They spawn right next to the ship, actually, your ship. But they don't shoot back. So I might just do that off stream. And we can work on something else next time. Now this is looking better. Just by changing the size of some of these asteroids. Looks better. And I think that's another cluster there, very close to this one. That lens flare is too much. Way too much. Now, let me just visit. In fact, let me visit somewhere with pirates. That was lucky. So, okay, so this is the current AI pirate ship logic. They just spawn right next to you when you spawn in. If you can see past the lens flares. And so far, currently, they just chase you. You know, they really want to sell you some extended warranty for your car. So the goal is to make these guys actually shoot you. Now I don't even think the player ship has a health system, so that's also something I could possibly do off stream or on stream tomorrow. I suppose that could be a good goal for a stream. Make these guys shoot, give the player ship a health bar. I just want to see what these guys do here. I've noticed something as well. The enemy the enemy turrets follow the player's mouse cursor. So these need to basically check that they are not the player and point at the player and shoot at the player. But yeah, that definitely seems like a tomorrow job. And these guys are just pushing me along, even if I come to a full stop. They're just pushing me. So that's not ideal. We want them to stop as they get closer and start shooting. Let's warp out of here. Now I should be able to shoot them. Yes, just about. And I can pick up whatever they drop. So what do I get here? 69 power connectors. More power connectors. Many power connectors. I don't know why that was the only drop, because I basically use like I think I'm using a loot table. There's a list of what they can drop, I think. I'll have to go back to that. Yeah. What time are we on now? We are 2:15 in the morning, for me at least. So I think I will call it a day there. And I think I will be back tomorrow, Saturday, for a daytime stream. And we can work on the AI combat. Because currently there is none, and they just chase you and push you, and their turrets look where your turrets look, so which is not good. So yeah, that's me for the night. Thanks for anyone that stopped by, and I will leave you with this chill music for a moment as I exit the stream. Thank you very much. See you later.